Ready? Yeah.
We are unmuted, we are recording. Yeah.
She's there.
Can hear you guys.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Talking about you.
Camera on. I apologize, but to have your vote out and have the counties present. Then we have to stay on the full time. My current rule.
They would, when you gotta go by, you gotta,
Practice starts at 6, so.
what practice for what?
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
You better have AstroTurf, right?
It toughens them up a little bit.
I hear you.
Getting stuck in the dirt.
Where's it at?
Beach.
I don't ever see anything wrong. I think I've gotta go to a meeting. That's this is what's the practice from. Because of what? Car.
Mine's leaving tomorrow for
But that's.
IU. Oh, yeah. I didn't get a U-Haul, but it was her.
Yeah.
I already told her once, get rid of the stuff.
Hey, Chris, can you hear us?
She's a freshman.
Yeah.
Can hear you.
Have you turned your video on?
Get in.
I don't have that option to turn my video on for some reason on this call. Hold on, I'm looking.
No, and she, she said, it's not even showing it as an option for her. See, it's just showing. Really?
I don't know.
Oh.
She can't read, she can't vote, we can't see her. Welcome back, Chris. I have to do
I can see you guys, but you guys can't see me. Maybe I will drop off and see if I can come back on, see if it'll allow me to be on video.
No, that's the video for this camera, just for
Does
this.
it update, is allowed you to change anything for her?
It's purely for this one, the more.
There's your time
I
here.
thought it was in a
Yeah.
participant.
Get nervous.
Yeah, it looks like a video's option's not being offered by your setup via Zoom. It's not me.
No, I think you're right.
Are you on the town? Here, I'm just saying myself. Are you on the town of Munster?
Yeah, that's my.
Oh, yeah.
Virtually, they have to like change some setting.
We had
here.
executive session. So that.
I thought so.
We had it for a couple members. Yeah. Because one of the members actually used to go to work in Saudi Arabia. So.
Yeah.
They sent me.
Yeah.
One transcriptions by executive session. I go. I didn't know that, but. 100% accurate. I was really surprised how close it was. But I was the most college.
All right, I want to keep playing with this. I wanna see what I.
All right.
We good then?
I would count her as roll call, but I would say virtual, no camera, so just make a note to that.
She can at all.
It doesn't.
Hey, Kristen, I don't know, and with the video being out, we cannot consider you as present. You can participate, but your votes will not count, just so you're aware. I don't know where Wendy's trying to work.
Understood.
Wendy's trying to work on the
No
video.
problem.
Get you up in time, it'll count, but if not, we'll just, if your video's not up, Janice won't call your name for any other role then when we get to that point, so you're aware.
Okay. Thank you.
We don't want to interrupt the recording or anything, so I'm gonna work on that.
All right, we're ready to call to order our August 19th park board meeting. Janice, if we could have a roll call.
Jose,
Here.
Scott,
Here's,
Dan,
Here.
Kristen virtually.
if everyone
Yes.
would. Right, what's a little bit, I can't talk, sorry, forget it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
A
nation,
nation under God.
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First order of business is public input, and first would be, Mark, we had any electronic emails? or
Nothing
otherwise?
electronic.
All right, if anybody is here for public input. First administrative matter is approval of park board minutes from July 15th, 2025.
I have no problem with the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call, Janice?
Jose,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Next order of business is confirmation of vouchers. And those are 25-8A and 25-8D.
I'll make a motion to approve 25-8A. And I guess all, or you just want to, okay, all of them.
I'll second.
Roll call, Janice?
Jose,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Mark, we have our August board report.
Yeah, I'll highlight just a few items off of this. The golf course management RFP was out. We received 3 proposals for that. We'll have a review committee of a couple of park board members, a couple of council members and staff to interview the candidates and go through that. I've sent them out to the full board, asking for you to, all of you to score it. So if you can get those scores to me, and then I'll share that with the review committee as we begin that review process. Hopefully by September, October-ish, we have a recommendation to the full board for that. So that's where we are with the golf course management RFP. The item of 3 that we did receive, the current firm did put in again, so we have 2 other firms as well besides our current Indigo True group. That's it. The clubhouse electrical redistribution, SCH continues the plans for the electrical redistribution of the clubhouse. They've been focusing recently on the 3 fountains in the pond, of which one of the fountains right now is broken, can't be replaced. They don't make the parts for it anymore. They don't make that fountain anymore. We very likely will be rerouting the electric to a new panel. We're going to meet later this week with an idea about rerouting it to the electrical panel near the stage. So, but that would be part of this demolition process, getting that taken care of out of the way before we can turn to the building. So, once that's taken care of, then we can turn our focus to the IT aspect of it, and then we can hopefully be ready to bid out the electrical work that needs to be done to remove everything out from the clubhouse building. Maynard Lake stocking, I didn't realize this, but there is actually signage already on at the park that says that Indiana fishing license is required out there. So the DNR actually came out yesterday to do a fish sampling. They're gonna send us the results based upon that. That's what they determine what type and species of fish to supplement the pond with. That will begin likely in the spring of next year. And the only other difference is any of the enforcement of the license will fall upon the DNR. Nothing that the town would enforce. So, and based upon the attorney's review of this information, I think we're fine. We're gonna double check with DNR as in regards to specific wording that they may have or may require for signage out there. But I think what we have likely will be sufficient, but we'll double check that with them as well. Other than that, it's kind of a lot of our standard things. Our fall recreation guides up at the printer getting ready, so that'll be going home soon. Unless you have any questions, I can answer.
When did they say there would be a report of which species?
It'll probably be a couple of weeks.
Okay.
She said, yeah,
And you
they,
can share
they
that
just
with
got
us.
done with, the state fair and then she immediately called me, emailed me the morning of, shared that with me, and then we'll be looking at that once we get our.
Okay, and then you'll share which fish.
Yeah, they'll share, I'm sure they're gonna make a recommendation as far as which species. I think it'll be multiple ones, but we'll see where they come back with, what they recommend from their fishery. She's the DNR pond biologist who actually is doing this for
Yeah.
us, for us.
And we're thinking like a 2026.
I'm thinking it'll be by spring.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping, maybe even, I mean, well, it freezes over a lot of it, at least the top side, so it's gotta be thawed out, but yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna host that tournament?
Fish fries.
We can host other things out there. It will still be we are still gonna advertise it as a catch and release facility though, so just so you're.
No fish fries.
So no fish fries.
Or we're not gonna stock some up
Yeah.
to perch. Good stuff.
Do that.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion?
May I ask a quick question? So does this mean kids will have to have a fishing license to fish out there? Is that what I'm understanding?
I believe so. I'm not sure
Okay.
if it has an age.
They do, I believe it's
Level.
15 or 16
Yeah,
where you don't
right
need
there.
one.
Anyone under 15 or 16, something, yeah. We'll have to check with that, what that rule is. And I'll get back.
Okay. I think that's important because I see a lot of kids fishing, young kids. I mean, older kids too, but I'm assuming they can get a license easier than younger kids, but I don't know that to be true, but thank you.
And I think typically, state DNRs will have one weekend that'll be a free fishing weekend.
A few, they have a couple.
They have a couple different things that encourage that type of activity. So, again, I'm sure we'll get that information as it comes.
And that's just for Maynard Lake, right? It's not for the Centennial. Pond.
Correct. Well, Maynard Lake is the center,
That's-
I guess.
not for Clay Hole, but yeah, this is strictly for Maynard. Yes.
Is there a way, would we lose species? Would they be able to go elsewhere?
No, they cannot get out
I
of it.
didn't think so.
The only way that water leaves that pond is either through evaporation or Dan, pulling it out for the golf course.
There is an outlet.
Don't suck any.
Or if it gets really high, it gets to an outlet, it does have
There's
no.
an outlet, but there's a bunch of debris in there.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of fish are getting out.
Our next item is the bigger item that I want to explain. We have to break this up into two separate.
Well, let me give some of the background here, Scott, on it before you
Sure,
get to that. But so we had the West Lakes Park washroom bid opening and we had 6 bids received. The 5 lowest were within 10% of each other, within $50,000 of each other. They came in much higher than we anticipated. We were thinking around the $300 per square foot mark, and they are much more significant than that. We were thinking somewhere between $400,000 to $500,000. The lowest bidder came in at $721,000. We will incur other additional expenses as part of this. That's strictly just building the building. We'll still incur expenses from NIPSCO to run the gas line. They have to change the electric supply line that we have out there. The doors, control systems, the locks, the surveillance system, that all collectively, I'm saying it's probably gonna run us about $800,000. If you're in favor of awarding the project, and we'd have to reprioritize some of our funding, because we had around $400,000 budgeted for this project. So we're really looking for another 400,000. So within my memo I gave you, that we can pull funds from the 2023 GO bond for parks. We had 360, almost $7,000 for Community Estates Park. We're not ready to move on Community Estates Park yet because we're still waiting to hear back from the train. But my suggestion is that we would pull that funds and basically put those funds back in the bond that we would work on later this year. So we'd have that available in next year for whenever we're ready to do something out there. We would be pulling some smaller figures, $4,479 from other park improvements in the 23 bond. And then $31,943 from the 2024 GO bond and other park improvements. So that collectively would allow us to have $800,000 kind of earmarked for this project. I think we feel comfortable with that figure to be able to award that. West Lakes Park is our third largest park in town. Since phase 2 and 3 of that park were developed, we talked about this washroom facility building, so you're going on 15 plus years or so. I don't believe in rebidding this out will save us much. I think what we could get a little bit lower bids, but I think other costs will go up as well. So I don't think there's gonna be much cost savings to do that. Since 5 of the 6 bids were within that closer window, I think that that's really where, what we're hearing is that's the cost of what it's gonna cost of what we're looking to build out there.
Currently dealing with a school project, a new school rebuild. If we would have waited, it would have cost $75,000. Or just for 6 months. So I get it.
So we, as staff, we are recommending the award of it. If you agree with the way that we've talked about it, and based upon Nicole's input here, we're suggesting 2 different motions and approvals if you choose to do this. One would be to adopt the proposed and awarding funding plan first, and then a second vote to award it if you deem that, if you agree with that.
I think we've waited, a long time to do this. And get this done, so.
And is the funding plan, you're saying pulling from specific bonds, is that like, that's what we're going for? Like that strategy?
The funding plan would be that, yeah, the table that I put in that memo. So using the escrow money, taking the current budgeted money that was for community estates and those other 2 in other park improvements and saying those are now specific for West Lakes for this project. And then what we'll have to make up is next, when we do the bond issue, put money back in for community estates in the future.
If we were planning on building out community estates in 2027, is that the original?
It depends. I mean, we're kind of at the will of the train. I mean, once we want to have the train's decision, the ability to consider the location of where the train has property for that subdivision, to have a park developed over there. At that point, then you can decide which of the 2 sites would be better. And then we can, move forward with what our plans are, attack, and how long it would take to develop that.
I think with, Nikki falling further behind that, as you said today, with the meeting, we might as well move on this, and we can always, like you said, just replace it.
And
When it's ready, when Nikki's ready too.
And the bond that we'll be talking a little bit about it later in the meeting at the capital improvement list, but the park bond that we're working on, that the council just engaged the financial consultant last night at their meeting, is a 2-year bond. So in the past, we've done a bond every year, so there's been new monies. This is gonna be one for basically for 2026 and 2027. So whether or not, I'm not sure if we're locked into, my understanding is the money's there for all of it. So if a 27 project gets bumped up to 26 or 26 gets pushed to 27, I don't think that that's gonna affect us that much. There has been times, like for instance, right now, where there was money in the 2023 bond for community estates. And we're now 2025 and still haven't used it all. We use some of it for the grading work out there, but we haven't used all of it. So that does it won't go away. It's there for us. But we do have to use it in a short period of time anyway. That's also something that Wendy will tell you, and Tricia in the clerk's office. You do want to try to spend your bond figures right away. You're basically getting a loan. You want to use it for what you're using, not just sit on that money for a prolonged period of time. So actually taking the money from what was earmarked for community estates towards this project actually helps us meet that goal, because then with doing this, we'll have 0 funds left in the parks from the 2023 GO bond left for us to spend.
And again, sorry, Charlie.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I guess the only thing I would caution the park board with regarding Community Estates Park. I do think you're going to get some more discussion from residents about that park and the development of that park. Now, with that being said, I don't think you have the time frame between now and the end of the year to build that park, no matter if you have any, because you have to go through some construction documents and everything. So, and if this is going to be replaced in the future bonds, those will be sold at the end of this year, and you'll have that money first thing to next year to do that. So it's not going to really hamstrung that, but I do think that discussion about Community Estates Park or where that location is, I think is going to, if it's not park board driven, I think residents might be asking more questions at the end of this year. So I do think to be prepared for that discussion is a good thing. But again, postponing this doesn't mean that if that development is pushed out to never. It's just, you're not gonna develop that park at the end of this year anyhow. So I see this being a very valuable exercise in doing that.
I also wonder, Mark, if there's any flexibility in the vehicle repair versus, like replace options. I think that section was about almost like a little bit under 400,000. And so could we, obviously earmark for that, but then kind of shift those funds, if community states becomes a viable option in the next year or something. Could we shift those funds there, or is it?
Well,
different?
what Chuck just said is very likely by this December, that new replacement money will already be there. It's gonna be in the bond that we have likely approved in the next few months of meetings. So that's where we'll be. So I honestly, I don't think we could spend it by December out of community states because of the plans that we'd have to design, get ready anyway. So, I think that it's almost an internal decision, but I wanted to make sure that you guys are all aware of this. And it's a good practice because obviously then we have it kind of earmarked for this project at West Lakes. And if you consider to award it, the money is all here. We're not awarding something without the money available to pay for it. So, that we want to be able to kind of follow with that best practice.
Hey, Mark, this is Kristen. I apologize. I don't want to interrupt anybody speaking. I did have a question. It kind of goes with what Chuck said and now with Jose, but the reason we are waiting currently on Community Estates Park is not due to us or even the change of funding, even if we waited till December, it's because we're waiting to hear back from the train if we can have another option of where we want to build the park, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just want to be clear on that part.
The train has indicated a willingness, but they won't do anything until they close out the current Westlake Corridor project. And of course, it continues to get delayed, which has delayed that response to us. So, but that is correct.
Okay.
We want them to finish that project and then I think they're willing to have that conversation with us.
So once that conversation occurs, by that point in time, most likely we'll already have new funding in place to then move forward with Community Estates, correct?
That's what I'm anticipating, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, okay, we're ready to first adopt the funding. Yes.
Sorry, wasn't ready for that. No, it's all right.
I'll make a motion to adopt it. To come with mine.
And a second. Roll call, James?
Jose,
Yes.
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes. And now we need to approve awarding this.
So it'd be an award to Grimmer.
Yeah, to Grimmer.
Grimmer's bid in the figure of 720.
721,000 even.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to award to Grimmer Construction for $721,000 for the construction of the West Lakes bathroom and storage facility.
I'll make a motion second.
Roll call, James?
Jose,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. Thank you. Next we have Bill with our Kids Fest event report and summer camp report.
All right, so I just want to start this off by saying Kids Fest does not have the best luck weather-wise. For the third year in a row, we had to go ahead and postpone it to a different day. So just going forward, hopefully we can get it on the first day next year. We had 5 sponsors, 17 vendors, 21 staff and volunteers, and over 250 wristbands sold with over 1,000 in attendance. With this event, we had Mario and Luigi there. We had a magician show up. We did add a couple new concepts to the event, such as Touch a Truck, and a specific toddler area, which seemed to have worked out really well. A lot of summer staff help with that. So because we don't have the school for volunteers, so camp staff, tennis staff, and pool staff help to go ahead and put that event on. And I've included some pictures on the back side as well for you.
Do you think it hurt attendance at all, having to move it a week?
Some people have said that the heat index that day was well over 100, number one, and number two, that was, Pierogi Fest as well.
Gotcha.
It just looks like a fun event. I was out of town that weekend, but it looked awesome. Yeah, thanks for putting that together.
Thank you. All right, so I can move on to summer camp unless you guys have any questions.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Camp completed in 9 weeks this summer. Everything went very well, thankfully. We had close to 1,000 campers. Our maximum per week was 100, but we obviously went well over that. Because when we opened registration on March 13th at 8:30, within a little over an hour, we were already completely full for the summer. Maxing out the weeks plus adding on some for people that were still in line here at Town Hall. Apparently people were in Town Hall at 5:30 that morning. Waiting. When I pulled in at 8 o'clock, there was already a line down the hallway and around the corner.
Kudos to you.
I had a great staff this year. More than half of them were new, so that was, some coordination and training with them, but they got their hands dirty, quickly. And everyone was on the same page to eventually pull off a great summer. For the first time this year, we had to cancel a field trip due to the heat index. They were supposed to go to a baseball game and that would not have been fun with the heat index of 110. So in turn, we brought in some bounce houses, some extra games. I bought them lunch. And it turned out to be a really good day. I've included some parent feedback from emails that I've received after the season has completed. In regards to lunch out on Fridays, we had 407 total campers within the 9 weeks. The largest Friday lunch out was Little Caesars with 69 kids. That's about it. New this year, we did have a partnership with the school town of Munster in regards to having bus transportation to and from Eads. There was a lot of concern with kids walking across Calumet and Ridge Road. So we are very, very thankful for that partnership.
Will it rotate to a different school next year?
They do every year,
That's
yeah. So they'll go back to walking next year. They're not gonna be very happy, but
What's typical retention with the camp counselors?
it kind of just depends on where they all are when they're hired. I mean, if they're hired high school or early college, I usually have them for at least a few years. If they come to me in a college, I lose them within a year or two. But once they normally are on staff, they stick around for a while.
Well, thank you for everything for this, because I know one person that. Parent survey at the end,
Dirty what?
a parent survey, do you do that at the end?
I did go ahead and send out like a big email to every single parent that I had participate this summer. Obviously, only a handful amount of people want to send me information back, whether it be things that went well, things that we could change for next year, just suggestions for next year. Out of probably the 250 emails I had, I probably received less than 15 back.
That's a good response.
Yeah.
It's normal. So who decided to start counting lost teeth?
We
I
wanted
mean, that's
to
pretty
add,
impressive.
it was a big year for teeth, I will say. The Tooth Fairy has been busy.
There you go.
But new this year, we added Fun Pack Fridays to our Facebook posts that I do for all of the parents. So that was always a big addition to our Friday post every week.
I know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have resolution amending Schedule A, park-related fees.
This is kind of our seasonal approval of fees, so we have that when the state board of accounts comes to take a look at our things and make sure that collectively as a board, the fees that we're taking in monies for our programs and events have been approved. So we bring this with a recommendation seeking your approval.
Is this already at the printer?
It is at the.
Usually it is.
I have to ask the question. I'll make a motion to approve the schedule. What was it, A? Yeah, Schedule A park related fees.
I'll second.
Roll call, Janice?
Jose,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes, I'm sorry, I did almost want to not vote against this week, I have to go to the printer.
Scott,
Yes.
May I have just a technical moment here?
Yes.
Kristen, I'm promoting you to a panelist. If you accept that, we should, and you should be able to turn yourself on for the video. We did it with, there, I see you've accepted it. Now you've got video, we should be able to see you.
oh.
Now you've got to expand your,
I don't see her.
mark your
Oh,
square in the
yeah.
corner.
Now she wants to vote against everything.
I feel like I'm against it.
All right.
Okay.
We need to see her, yeah,
Okay.
and you can change the view to.
Can you put your phone on the side? The participants will change your view.
We're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost done.
But this is legal.
No.
So that's, yeah. All right, so so can we go through the, while Wendy / clerk treasurer / IT go through this?
We are.
And I appreciate it because you're smarter than
Our capital improvement project list discussion.
Yeah, so we have.
There's no vote on this, so she doesn't even really have to be present, right?
Yeah, I don't think you need to.
Because.
I'm not an attorney, I'm gonna say that a million times.
He doesn't need to for county for a vote, but.
We'd like to see her anyway.
We-
All right,
For the
That's
president of
right.
the meeting and for her input.
That's fine. Yes, sorry, Chris.
So we have, based upon coming from the study session we had a month or 6 weeks ago, I guess, maybe. And the discussions we had at that time in regards to capital improvement projects. I had asked each of you to send me your comments and, priorities, and I received those, and this is kind of how things funneled out. So we have 26 projects, 2026 projects, we have 2027 projects, and then we also have 2026 and 27 vehicles and equipment lists. So vehicles and equipment lists, those are kind of standards, replacing according to our schedule to keep up with the equipment and have good usable equipment and vehicles for everything that we need to maintain. The project list is really the bigger thing, and we kind of concentrated on the repave of Fisher Street Bike Trail, as that's something that money's already budgeted for. We did additional borings out there that told us that there's no stone under that path, and to make that really, to rebuild that the right way, we're gonna want to do that. So there's a chunk of money that's been budgeted for that based upon input from SCH and the engineering estimates that they had. There's a community park, this would be the year for softball to get some field improvements, so there's $20,000 there. We rotate that each year between softball, baseball, and Babe Ruth. The community park south assessment was budgeted at $150,000. That's to assess the pool, skating park, the parking, the recreation center, or whatever we want to do that furthest south end of community park, hiring a consultant to help us get through that. The community park south repave lot and drive, that's repaving this very south end of Lions Club Drive, what's currently in front of the pool and the pool parking lots. The West Lakes restroom fiber, there's money budgeted for making sure the surveillance cameras and fiber that we have to be able to put on the new building that we just approved. The Cobblestones Park tennis courts is in there as a budget. I actually have a layout that will fit, which would have 4 pickleball courts in a north-south layout, 2 and 2 with 1 tennis court. So you'd have a little bit of both there. So you basically lose one of the tennis to get 4 pickleball courts in out there. The Heritage Park improvements, this is replacing the gazebo, which is rotting, bringing about ADA improvements with the pathways both to the, gazebo itself, as well as bringing a pathway through to going towards Cloister in the Woods, which is where a lot of the parking for any events out there, comes from. And then also helping with a landscaping plan and potentially invasives management, out there, because we've been getting a lot of our groups that do some of the volunteerism out there are seeking that hope. So we want to look at some funds there to be able to do some of those further improvements. The community estates park improvements, there's that $400,000 that we're suggesting to put it back in place for what we just moved to use for the West Lakes Washroom Building. Replacement of the sign of the Mona Trailhead, the wooden, bigger, larger sign. We want to do what we did at Rotary Park with a similar type of faux wood sign. The one that's out there is currently actually is a wood, it's rotting through. And then overall accessibility improvement system wide, there's a figure in there. We have pool improvements in there. This is one of those that if the pool season is there and it's open, there's very likely going to need improvements to be made. So we want to, if we don't put something in there, we're really behind the 8 ball. We'd be coming back and saying, okay, what are we going to get rid of to go make improvements? So there's something there. If those choose not to be used, then that's something that could potentially be shifted for other improvements in one of the parks. So, and then generally, we have a system-wide park improvements that typically includes site furnishing, could be small little landscaping or drainage improvements, things along those lines. Those are all under the 26, under the 27, which if you're looking at it, it's actually on the second page on the website. There's $500,000 for beach park improvements. That's to improve the court areas and the playground. I think that's, you know, there's some ideas, but the thought that I had was updating the playground, adding soccer or volleyball court into that area. That's kind of, that nothing is currently out there next to the basketball court. And then we have an arch on the Pennsy Greenway coming in off of Main Street to kind of balance what we have at the state line on the Pennsy. And then also figures in there for the creation of a park at Manor Park. We didn't lose all of the park space at Manor, just to the north of the parking lot for the train station. There is green space there that we can provide some type of recreational opportunity for us, for the community. So that's where we have these right now. Again, if we can change these, this list is what's been already submitted as an initial draft towards and what the council saw with what they approved last night to engage, I think it was Baker Tilly, right? The financial consultant. And this would be listed as an addendum to an initially, if it comes through in my estimation, I believe the schedule will be a declaratory resolution at next month's meeting, a public input, a public comment meeting at the October meeting, and then November could potentially be a confirmatory resolution, where then this list, we would want this list as final as possible by that confirmatory resolution.
So was that November? Because that was gonna be
Yeah,
my
likely
question.
gonna be November, and then hopefully the idea would be to close on it and have the funds available in December before the end of the year. That'd be right, Wendy?
Yes, we need it before the end of the year.
Yeah,
That's the intention.
I mean, you know my I stated my questions, it's like, whatever. What are you gonna do first, chicken or egg? Because you wanna make sure that you don't wanna put improvements into something and all of a sudden this assessment says bad, or vice versa. The assessment can say, this is the greatest thing in the world and we
For
need
sure.
to do it. And I get it, and I also don't wanna have something that's unsafe or unsanitary as well. So I also think there's an agreement with the hospital as far as
They would,
maintenance.
they would pay half of the cost of that, for the parking lot repave, they would pay
Right.
half. I don't think they would pay it, I don't think we can stretch it to cover the piece of Lions Club Drive between the high school
Right,
wrapping around there, but
No, no.
the parking lot itself, I think
so the 750 would include the partnership with that?
I think it will be more than 750, because that's
Really?
a sizable parking lot, yeah.
But
I
that's,
think it'll be double
that's the
that,
cost between both of us.
between both of
Yes.
us. No, I'm sorry, that's our share.
Oh,
I think their share would be also another well, it's not gonna be a full 750 because ours includes the Lions Club Drive portion of it. So theirs might be closer to 500,000. Those are some numbers we had a couple years ago from SEH, but that's still off of where we're going off.
So your directive to us is by sometime before October, so we've got a September meeting. you'd want really, if you want to move Beach Park up, which I think Jose's been talking about Beach Park, and I agree, having gone by there, the condition of the swing sets and stuff. You know, and I know you can do this, you can move 27s up to 26s, as long as you keep it enough land enough to say that you could
Right.
just say park improvement and.
And I think even though it's really a 2-year, and I don't know, I'll defer to Wendy or maybe Tricia's assistance on that. If being a 2-year bond, if it's a big deal to take something out of the 27 year and bump it into 26, I don't think that that's gonna really matter. When you get the bond funds, they're all here.
Typically,
So,
typically they require you to spend a considerable amount by year 3 of the bond issue, so.
right.
At least my experience tells me that, so. That's fine, and so we just
And-
have to figure out what projects we wanna do between now and
Right.
or whatever.
And I'll also add that obviously none of this includes Centennial Park improvements, that's meant for separate funding. This does include Centennial Park equipment though, mowers, and things like that, because of the shorter term of these type of bond issues and the lifespan of that equipment versus a much larger lease type, building corporation type of funding that, you know, might go out 10, 15, 20 years for those Centennial.
I
improvements.
appreciate you putting together a list. I have no further questions at this time. I mean, it is what it is. We have to figure out what we wanna do. Unless. I know Jose's gonna coach. I'm cognizant of that.
The only thing I would ask is, when does the park board, park staff want to talk to the council about the Centennial Park improvements when it comes to a municipal center corporation? Because again, I think that becomes more of a council type thing.
Yeah.
And I do
Yeah.
want to make sure that we at least start that discussion, because it's gonna take some time to get that going also. So I can bring that up to the council, make sure that they're aware, but and again, we could try to do it within the next 2 months just to get some type of a conversation going. Is that appropriate or?
Yeah.
I think September would be great.
It's always good to
It's
talk
like
to
2
the
or 3
council.
months.
It's always good to talk to the council.
And we've shared that with Tricia. I think Tricia is kind of formulating the plan and the lineup of that based upon some input from Baker Tilly that they initially did on collective funding, opportunities for the town across the board. Geo bonds, park bonds, that the lease, everything else that might come into play as far as when and the timing of all of those. So I think that would be, and I know I've stressed to her that, you know, we obviously want to move on Centennial. We have something already working, you know, kind of in progress with the clubhouse issues, which we still have some funding left to cover some of that, but we want to be able to step right into that next level.
Has anyone given you, the council of clerk treasurer, the fiscal impact of the new legislation? Yet I know it's been in flux. I mean, that plays a role in
Yeah.
a lot of things.
It does play a role. Now, the funding for, say, Centennial Park
Yeah.
it's a 20-year bond, and it would be based on, you know, property tax.
Right,
revenues.
right.
We've got, some of these numbers have to be looked at. We're waiting for a report back from Baker Tilly to see how feasible these actually are. We're comfortable that they will be, but there's a lot of unknowns right now. But
I just wondered if they clarified it since session.
every time they clarify it, the number we're going down goes up.
Ah.
So we
Got it.
don't want any more clarification because it's costing us.
I understand that.
So the closer they look, but no, we've taken that into account as well, that the possibility of.
Thank you.
May I ask a quick question? I have no issue with the list as presented by Mark, especially if there's a few things we can move up, pending how that works. But separate from that, the Centennial Park question I have is, we've talked a lot about the stage at Centennial Park having issues. Is that part of the Centennial funding, or is it just only the work we've reviewed and discussed? We've never discussed the stage. So I was just wondering about that stage and if that's something we're going to have to look into or do something about.
It is on there.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry, I missed it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for telling me that.
It's $4 million under stage.
Stage area improvements.
Okay, thank you. I didn't see that one. Thank you.
With that one being a 20-year bond too, we tried to project things that were a little bit, maybe not immediate, but things that, in the relatively soon, future here, that will need it. So that, we tried to put that in there together, since that's gonna be a larger, bond capacity to be able to handle those things. All at that site. All right. Then we'll have this shared, with Tricia and Baker Tilly as we, prepare, hopefully by next month, a potential of a declaratory resolution. You'll likely see the same list, minus the blue Centennial projects for that one, for the park, so.
We're ready to adjourn.
Let's say anything, do we?
Can I update a couple things? I have a couple questions too.
Jose, can you leave?
Yeah. Well, you know what, why don't we just adjourn the meeting and then we can talk?
Yeah.
Because if he has to leave, we can adjourn it.
I agree with that.
It's nothing that needs to be voted.
That's right, so how we do, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, meeting's adjourned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Kristen.
Stay dry out there.
Yeah. Rest.
So,